Today I'll be drawing a woman who makes me feel very gay. Oh, I really exposed myself there. Hi there friends, welcome to Jujutsu Kaisen Angels Part 4. I took a little break there to let my skin heal and focus on a couple of commissions, but now I'm back into drawing. So, who is this wonderful woman who makes me feel very gay? Well, it's Maki Zen'in, of course. Who else? It's not like there are so many amazing female characters in this show. That was sarcasm, if you didn't get it. Honestly, this is one of the reasons I love Jujutsu Kaisen so much. The women are actually real, if that makes sense. A lot of anime shows portray their female characters as one-dimensional, either silly or emotional all the time, or badass with no flaws whatsoever. Never really like an actual character with depth and a lot of, their own struggles. Just a concept. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would describe a lot of anime women. They're just a walking concept, they're not people. Jujutsu Kaisen though is a bit different, though I must say, in recent years a lot of anime has become much more inclusive and focused a bit more on character building, including the women. The girls in Jujutsu Kaisen have depth and a lot of character, sometimes large personalities and very deep ones. For example, the character I will draw in the next video is a very stereotypical girly girl, but when she needs to, she can fight like a beast. She has a long backstory and a line of thoughts and actions that actually make sense. She isn't a Sakura or a Misa from Death Note, that's my point. But this video isn't about her, it's about my crush, Maki. Born into a prestigious family of curse hunters, she was a bit of a disappointment, a regular human who can't even see curses, but through hard work and incredible determination, she found her own path in this mystical world. Her power lies in her sheer strength and mastery of weapons. Most often you'll see her with the staff I drew in this picture, but she uses a variety of weapons to hit her opponent exactly where it hurts the most. In this drawing, I wanted to focus on their strengths, both physical and mental. I exaggerated her muscles so they rivaled those of Sukuna. Broad shoulders, large biceps, and defined abs. Honestly, it's the kind of body I want to achieve someday, which is why I go to the gym 4 times a week. She's looking down at the viewer with a face expression that can only say, "I'm about to beat you up." When designing her wings, I was following the shape of wings adapted for speed, wide with a sharp tip like those of ducks and falcons, with a little stylistic adjustment in the form of elongated secondary feathers close to her body. Probably has no function in real birds as far as I know, but I wanted her wings to have a bit of a fantasy twist rather than sticking to complete realism. To draw this pair, I tinted the whole area gray like I did with Sukuna, but less pigment. I wanted them to be gray rather than black. I finally found a good alternative for charcoal, which is carbon pencil. Still, not the most precise, but much better than what I was using before. I used the carbon pencil for shading and erased a little bit of the tip of each feather so there is definition and contrast between them. You know how it goes, you watched me do feathers twice already. I encountered one issue when designing this character, and that is aesthetic, honestly. I am a primarily fantasy artist, but Jujutsu Kaisen is taking place in modern day Japan. Like very modern. The show has so many references to today's pop culture, which is actually, it's hilarious. So the fact that Maki wears glasses fits the aesthetic perfectly. And by the way, me too, I wear glasses too. Unfortunately, it doesn't really fit my angelic vibe, so I had to come up with an alternative. I don't know, just like the thought of an angel warrior with reading glasses on. I mean, it's funny. It's a funny picture in my head, but that's the whole thing. I don't want it to be funny. I don't want my Maki to look silly. I want her to look like a strong warrior. Maki's limitation of seeing certain things is a pretty big part of her struggle as a character, so it was important to me that her eyes stand out. I simply drew her iris without a pupil. just a white circle, giving her a bit of a creepy look. Now that all the summary of my idea and design and story are out of the way, I'd like to talk a little bit about the process. So I learned from drawing Gojo and Sukuna that it is always a good idea when just drawing big pictures like that to shade everything very lightly, because then I know that the shadows are where it makes sense and all my shapes are good and well thought out. I encountered that issue when working on Megumi. I realized that I was pretty much like rendering everything with details right away. Because of some parts of the composition of Megumi kind of forced me to do that. But I realized that by focusing so much on details right away, I really lost the big picture, and as a result, I'm not very happy with how Megumi turned out. So with Sukuna, with Maki, and that's how I pretty much did Gojo. I first of all did the shading of everything very lightly, and after that I started rendering and adding details. The reason why this is a good idea to do that is so your shading is actually realistic and it is in the right places at the right strengths, while you still can erase it and make adjustments. When you make the strong dark lines, sometimes they don't fully erase, and that can be a problem. I actually had this issue with Maki's face because when I sketched it out for the first time, I did it a bit too dark, especially her mouth, and then I had to redo the face and change the proportions a little bit, and it was super hard to erase. And that is something that you should always avoid when working with dry media. It is just like watercolors, always work from the lightest and then darken the parts that need to be dark. These are very rare cases where you have to start from dark when working with dry media. Because my character is pretty dark, like the wings are gray and she has a lot of shadows, I didn't need to tint the whole background gray like I had to with Megumi or with Sukuna. I just did a few clouds, very minimalistic. I didn't go too much into it. Instead, I focused here on the wing design and on the muscles. It was important for me to do them as realistic as possible. I've been talking a lot about Maki's look, like a little simp, so I think it is just time to confess and come clean. I have a weak spot for muscular women. There, I said it. Just muscular women. Seeing that gives me bisexual rage, even though I'm pretty straight. I just love muscular women. I find them very beautiful. I always loved strong women in media of all forms, whether it's mental strength or courage or physical strength. Examples I can give you, my favorite Disney princess of all time is Mulan. I love Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I even like Korra, even though like the story of Legend of Korra is a bit, it's not the best compared to the first show that came out. Pretty much almost every single woman from Game of Thrones. I just love strong women, and I realized that aesthetically wise, I absolutely do find like the more feminine women beautiful, but when it comes to like muscular, more like strong, physically strong women, that is my number one weakness. And I was honestly so excited to draw Maki because she's exactly that. She is a physically strong woman, a mentally strong woman, a brave woman. She is everything I like. And when I made the first sketch of her, I was looking at so many references and really trying to capture like this raw strength that she possesses. And I enjoyed every second of it. I was super excited to get to her because I put so much effort into, first of all, because I put so much effort into the sketch. Second of all, because I am drawing a subject that I like personally absolutely love. I'm pretty sure my love for strong women has never been a secret. That's something I talk about all the time, whenever I mentioned any books or shows I like. But the thing about the aesthetic muscular women, that's kind of a more recent thing. because I started going to the I think this is where it comes from. I started going to the gym regularly with the goal to gain muscle, and I can do a whole video about that, because how I got to this place, I think it's actually quite interesting. So tell me if you're curious about that. I absolutely will make a video about it. But I started doing that, and also I've been putting more effort into studying anatomy of the human body. So in the purpose for research purposes, I just wanted to learn how to draw it realistically and in a way that actually makes sense. And I just realized that sure, muscular men is great, but there isn't anything that special about it. We see them all the time. But muscular women, look, now that is something special. I also have the same weakness towards women in metal, because again, they're badass. They're so cool. For example, one of my crushes for a few years ago was Alyssa Whiteclaws from Arch Enemy. I loved Arch Enemy at the time, simply for the fact that that is a woman who does like the metal screaming thing. You don't see it all the time, and she is super good at it. And that fact alone just made me a fan of the band. I loved it. One of my heroes, pretty much my icon, is Floor Jansen, who is also like a very prominent figure in metal. And she is a woman who is not only an amazing goddess-like singer, she's also like, if you look up pictures of her, she is like super tall and muscular. And I saw her live and I fell in love a little bit. So yeah, that is pretty much my confession. I love strong women. They make me feel certain feelings. I can summarize this drawing with one word. I don't need any more. And that is satisfying. Making this drawing was satisfying. I absolutely love how the wings turned out. I always like how the wings turned out. Just drawing feathers in general, for me, it's a bit therapeutic, I must say. It's shuts off my brain. It's almost like meditation. I don't really think too much, I just do it. I used to think about it a lot back in the day when I was just learning how to do wings and I was not very confident with my skill, but after some practice, now I do it very automatically. And it's always, even though it often takes me many hours, they are not tedious at all. I just kind of get inside my head and slowly draw each feather. I am also really happy with the way her body turned out. For many reasons. It is very, I think I said it before, but I'll say it again, and I'll repeat that probably for the next many years to come, but it is very encouraging to me to see any progress in my skill. And I struggled with the human body for quite a while. I always had struggles with anatomy. Sometimes the limbs are too long, or whenever I tried to do muscles, they were not exactly correct. And I must say, I started studying more anatomy, and that for sure helped. But another thing is, once I grew more comfortable in my own skin, in my own body, it became much easier for me to draw other people's bodies. A lot of people say that when an artist draws another person, it is still a reflection of themselves. An artist always puts a little bit of themselves into into their subject, and that makes total sense to me, because when I gained more confidence, I realized that I have more confidence drawing other people, and it shows. A lot of my art lately has been much more figurative, when before that I like focused a lot on landscapes, for example, and I still do landscapes, but right now I just feel so much more confident drawing people, and it feels really good. And seeing the way Maki turned out, that is just satisfying. I have no other word for that. It makes me very happy, and I am like really, really proud of the way it turned out. I think I grow so much as an artist, even from a year ago. I can probably make like a compilation to show all my progress from like 5 years ago to now. Like, that would be fascinating to see how much I've grown, and to see that with my own two eyes is satisfying. I love her face expression, I love the way her hair turned out, the hands turned out really good. I've become much better at drawing hands. Before that, if you're an artist or you know an art, you know that hands is like the bane of our existence. But once you like figure them out, it becomes so good. I remember now this I think it's a TikTok sound. Something goes like, artists be like, once I learn how to draw hands, it's over for you bitches. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel, because I'm figuring it out. I'm gonna conquer the world once I figure out how to draw hands. With how well Maki turned out, honestly, I am super excited to move on to my next character, another girl, because my idea for it is honestly so cool in my opinion, and I can't wait to show you guys the process. I can't wait to actually get to it. I still have to tweak some parts of that sketch, so I'm like 100% confident, but I have just renewed motivation to actually get to it. And I've done 4 drawings so far and haven't burnt out yet. That is a feat for me. I said it before, but I struggle to actually stick to series because I get tired of them. But I haven't got tired yet, so I think I figured out what exactly works for me in terms of fan art and consistency and style and theme. With this last statement, I think it's time to finish this video. Thank you so much guys for watching. I really appreciate that you take the time out of your day to support my videos. I hope that you get something out of it, whether it's enjoyment or learning experience. I recommend you expand the description box. That's where I have all my socials. You should check out my Instagram. That's where I post everything from my daily life to pictures of my cat and whatever I'm working on. So if you want to keep up with what it is I'm up to, follow my Instagram. If you want to support my work, I recommend you check out my Patreon and my Etsy shop, which will be replenished soon as I get my prints in about 10 days. You can also find there a link to my Twitch channel where I stream roughly twice a week doing digital art. And of course, if you're new on this channel and you like to see more art content, I suggest you subscribe and maybe give this video a like. Likes keep me motivated. Stay happy, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.